And I couldn't believe my eyes. I was watching it and I said, this might be Syria or Iraq. This can't be Israel. So we had a totally different situation right now. We will need to make our homework.
Hello, Arye. Thank you very much for taking time for us.
With pleasure.
Well, many thanks again for being with us. As we are understandably time constricted, thanks again. What would you like to add, comment, or possibly disprove about our conclusions of our analysis that Israel had grown too complacent with its perceived superiority in technical as well as intelligence? Basically,
Yes.
underestimated Hamas greatly in its capabilities over years and might have a strategic wrong sense of peace developed.
Yes, as you said yourself, it's we underestimated the enemy. The enemy in this case is Hamas and Islamic Jihad in the Gaza Strip. At this point, I won't speak about the other enemies on our borders, be it Hezbollah or be it even the mullahs in Iran, Revolutionary Guards, or as you know, the Houthis in Yemen who declared war on Israel.
Yes.
Let's focus on the Gaza Strip and Hamas and Islamic Jihad. We have underestimated them. And when I say we, I mean the military, I mean the security services, intelligence services, and Israel in total. And there's 2 points we have underestimated them. One, their ability to take out such a military operation from this densely populated area, which we are monitoring since years. And we were aware that they are planning all kind of stuff, but we haven't seen it coming, and we haven't seen it coming in such a vast and really in terms of quality and quantity military operation that they are able to do it. They did it. And the second point is that we haven't seen it coming in terms of how brutal, how cruel they will be, because they have murdered, butchered, slaughtered, executed elderly and girls and children and even babies. And we haven't seen it coming this way.
Thank you very much for your open words. Well, as for example, Mr. Bezalel Smotrich admitted, or basically everyone should be agreeable on that this can't happen again from Israeli point of view. And as I, for example, read that the first responders of the first hours were often officers with honorary legacy weapons, and very few else had any possibilities to defend themselves, as for example General Golani. Yet now the security perception has changed, and just recently a new gun law has been implemented. Could you maybe comment on this and possibly add a personal note?
Well, first of all, yes, we were not ready on October 7, and it was a weekend. I want to remind you, it was a weekend. It was a high Jewish holiday, and it was 6:30 in the morning. And it's kind of similar to exactly 50 years ago, the Yom Kippur War, where we had some, we knew that things might happen, but in the end, we were surprised. Yom Kippur War 50 years ago, and October 7, 50 years later, about 9 weeks ago. And the first responders, they had a hard time, I have to say, because they were overwhelmed. And, it's very hard to just stand in front of, with a machine gun or even a regular rifle or a pistol, if dozens of terrorists stand in front of you with RPG gunfire, which makes it very hard to win that little battle. And we had dozens and hundreds of these situations where our forces and the civilian population around the Gaza Strip on the Israeli side in the kibbutzim and on the music festival, as you know, where about almost 400 people were slaughtered, where you had terrorists, heavily armed, but also Palestinian civilians, about 1,000 to 1,500 civilians, like Palestinian mob. They came in and they murdered, raped, and even kidnapped, as you know, around 250 people into the Gaza Strip.
I just wanted to have this covered as I think there's a widespread misconception of Israeli gun laws until recently, with so many pictures of conscripts in civilian clothing existing. And yeah, there is quite a little deluded perception sometimes regarding that. And well, where the offensive or the active self-defense until recently was not given or seen that favorably, yet you have quite encompassing defense infrastructure with air raid shelters per house block and often individual safe rooms. So how well did these work according to your knowledge where Hamas managed to intrude, and how did you yourself experience, let's say, the first 12 to 24 hours?
Individual safe rooms are very important in our defensive measures. Home Front Command is investing a lot of time and effort in it to make sure that everyone here in the country will have some place and some space to run to in times of emergency. The problem is that houses which were built before 1980, they usually don't have individual safe rooms, be it in the southern part of Ashkelon or in some parts of Sderot even, or in Netivot or Fakim. That's the cities around the Gaza Strip on the Israeli side of the border. But speaking about the kibbutzim on sometimes even just a kilometer east or north of the Gaza Strip, usually the kibbutz citizens, they have in their apartment one safe room. But still, if you come up with an RPG and you stand in front of the window, or you come up with a machine gun in front of the door, you will be able to shoot and to destroy and to even make sure that you will kill people inside that safe room. And we had plenty of these situations because these safe rooms, they were not designed for terrorists who are standing in front of you with machine gun or RPG gun power, but they were designed for incoming rockets. So we had a totally different situation right now. We will need to make our homework in order to understand that in the future, if there might be a similar situation, maybe even in the north of Israel, that we will ready to make sure that each and every citizen will have some place to run, and that place needs to be as safe as possible. Myself, on October 7, I was still a civilian, just a regular citizen. My wife, she woke me up at around 6:30 in the morning. She said, Arye, there is a lot of sirens. There's shootings. There's something going on. What is happening? We live in the area of Tel Aviv, and it's not regular that there's minute-long sirens and all kind of rockets in the air. So I went to the TV. I switched it on, and the first image I remember now is that I saw that pickup truck of heavily armed Hamas, masked and heavily armed Hamas men in a city in Israel, in Sderot, which is about 3 kilometers northeast of the Gaza Strip. And I couldn't believe my eyes. I was watching it, and I said, this might be Syria or Iraq. This can't be Israel. How did that one pickup truck make it into Israel? And during the course of the day, October 7, little by little, more and more video material and pictures came out, most of them even filmed by Hamas themselves, live situations where they murder people and abduct people. We have live images on Telegram and on Facebook, which Hamas have downloaded and shared. So during the course of October 7, little by little, I understood it's not only one rocket, it's not only one pickup truck, but we're speaking about a situation of war. And just a couple of hours later, I got a call from the army, and I was called in. I was told, Arye, we're in war.
Arye, once more, thank you very much for your time and always calm duty to you. We hope to have you back someday, for example, discussing your books in the motivational series of our Eco channel. Arye, as well as dear audience, take care, stay safe.